So hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nelson. Kindly, if it's your first time guys coming across my video guys, feel free to share, comment, and also show me some love by subscribing to my YouTube channel. So guys, I want us to go through these videos and see how many Africans still believe that Jamaican is in the continent on Africa, and how they are surprised knowing that Jamaican is not in the continent of Africa. So guys, stay tuned, watch. I'll be back with some comments.
Is Jamaica in Africa? That's a question that I was asked a couple of weeks ago at the end of a dancehall class. And dancehall is a style that comes from Jamaica, so I was quite surprised that somebody who comes for a class has really just no idea what kind of class you're going for, especially that she was in that class a couple of times before. So I was shocked. I kept quiet for some time, a few seconds, because I wasn't expecting a question like that. But in case anybody else is wondering, and to answer that question, no, Jamaica is not in Africa. Jamaica is an island that is located in the Caribbean. And maybe let me insert a map so you can visualize and know where exactly in the world Jamaica is located.
So, I think it's safe to say that there are a few Africans growing up who genuinely thought that Jamaica was in Africa. And I am guilty. I am one of those people who genuinely thought Jamaica was an African country. And I remember growing up, my dad used to play Bob Marley so much. And on top of that, the vinyl, we used to call it LPs, the cover was clearly a black African man. So it didn't make sense that if anyone had to tell me, no, this man is not in Africa or from Africa, he's obviously African, but that Jamaica is not in Africa, made no sense. But I know better now, guys. I'm grown up, but I do know something. So there's this other African country, and they do not consider themselves black. I don't even know if they think they're African. It's a blue flag, and no, it's not Botswana. But maybe if we can swap them with the Caribbean. Just a thought.
South Africans are okay with things not making sense. For example, Jamaica's not in Africa, Haiti's not in Africa, Brazil's not in Africa, but I've come across some South Africans that in theory know this, but in reality, they don't compute it or process it, right? For example, I'll tell people about my Jamaican friends. I'll be like, oh my gosh, Jamaicans have housed me and made me feel more welcome and helped my transition a lot more than, some African people. And they'll be like, why are you separating Jamaicans from Africans? Is Jamaica not in Africa? I'm like, bro, we were in the same geography class. You know that Jamaica is not in Africa. And then people would have to dig in their knowledge and be like, oh my gosh, in theory, yes, I do know that it's not in Africa. But the way that Jamaican culture, Haitian culture, even some people think that Brazil, not as often Brazil comes up, but some people do think that Brazil is in Africa. They would know it in theory that it's not in Africa, but then practically and realistically, their brains just see these cultures, the spirituality within these cultures, the expression, the color, the ceremoniousness, the way that Africans feel loved when they're in these countries, and they'll be like, yeah, this must be an African person, even though the theory we learned in class is cognitively dissonant to that, or it is incongruent to the information that their brain feeds them. And I find that so fascinating. And I think then when you approach the African continent or South Africa, knowing that things make sense not making sense, knowing that people can maneuver the countries in the world in their heads to make sense of identity in the world, I think it lets you approach South African ignorance differently, and South African history and political context differently, because there is a context as to why people think that Jamaica is in Africa. And it's not everyone, it's some people, it's probably a minority before people come at me. But yeah.
You cannot tell the average Jamaican right now that they are African, even though 90% of the population is predominantly of African descent. You can tell the Indian that they are Indian, and they have a clear sense of what Indianness looks like and feels like. But you ask about the Africans, and then people look sideways at you and wonder if you're going mad, and have a retort ready for you to say, no, no, well, you're Jamaican. But if you came from Africa's corn and are planted in Jamaica or Trinidad or Tobago, you don't become peas. You're still corn. So it is, again, a disconnect between our past selves and our sense of history, and the loss of that sense to the reconstruction of ourselves in other people's image and likeness. And therefore, that's the recipe for cognitive dissonance, a sort of madness in fact.
Did you guys know that less than 1% of Jamaica's population has access to their beaches in Jamaica? Actually, the number is 0.6% of Jamaica's population, to be exact. And why? Because of colonization. Foreign companies have bought out all the beachfront properties in Jamaica, limiting and preventing access of local indigenous Jamaicans from accessing their beaches, their own beaches. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, the hotels and resorts that are getting built is probably creating jobs, and it's creating, tourism, which is creating economic wealth for the country. Actually, 80% of the wealth created from tourism in not just Jamaica, but all of the Caribbean is moved to Western and foreign countries. I guess this is so triggering for me because oftentimes I hear people who will go to countries like Jamaica and go, oh, there were too many people selling me things on the beaches, and it was just so annoying. Actually, a lot of those people who are selling you souvenirs and trinkets on the beaches used to be fishermen. They used to be independent. But because of hotels and resorts buying up the beachfront properties, they have to resort to selling you rides on jet skis and selling you souvenirs. When we're talking about Jamaica specifically, it's not just beachfront properties that are being purchased by foreign countries and foreign companies. It's also the fact that Jamaica is the world's leading exporter of bauxite, which is the ore of which aluminum comes from. And foreign companies have been mining Jamaica's land for bauxite. And it has taken a toll on the land and its people. And now that it's depleted the land, they're looking to move to more ecologically friendly areas of Jamaica's island. A country that is dependent on tourism for economic stability is a country that is still enslaved, and Jamaica is one of many countries. I mean, this is happening to Puerto Rico, this is happening in the Philippines, it's happening in Thailand, it's happening in Bali. The global south is for purchase. If you are unable to draw the connection between what is happening in Jamaica to what is happening in Palestine to what is happening in Congo and Sudan, you are asleep at the wheel. Because we are in the middle of a global crisis, and this global crisis is now going to end up at our borders because people cannot survive this. This is unsustainable. It is actually very emotional to watch these videos of people in Jamaica who are the stewards of the land. They're not looking to be these rich capitalists. They're looking to just be in harmony with the land, to take care of the land, to enjoy the land. They're not looking to build resorts and hotels. They're just looking to survive. And these are the people, the stewards of the land, that are being displaced. And that's happening everywhere across the global south. And I am constantly wondering what happens when the stewards of the land are gone. What happens to this planet?
So I'm not racist. I do have a serious question. In black culture or African American, I don't know what please don't get mad. I don't know the rule. In black culture, whenever something amazing happens, it seems like there's always a black lady that goes, okay. How do you know, is that spontaneous? Or how do you decide who gets to do? Because I would love to incorporate this in my family gatherings, but I don't.
Sure, Jamaica is in Africa. I don't care what the geographers say, because do you know how much that scarred me when I was 10? Do you understand? I'm sorry.
So guys, welcome back. I want to officially welcome you back. I hope that you have watched those videos and see that there is still that many of Africans still believe that Jamaica is in Africa, and that is very mysterious, because even me, guys, I know that I used to believe that Jamaica is in Africa. I remember when I was still young, I always knew that all black people are from Africa. So the other day I discovered that Jamaica is not in Africa, that Jamaica is in the Caribbean, and it's one of the biggest country in Caribbean. So guys, I was, even me myself, I was surprised knowing that Jamaican is not in Africa. And I think that the thing that makes that many people think that Jamaican is in African is because of the good music, guys. The thanks to legendary like Bob Marley, you know, this guy used to, in their song, in their reggae music, they used like to mention African so much. African, they like praising African, saying that saying good things about African. So guys, I think that music music has made many people think that Jamaican is in Africa. So guys, many even still now believe that Jamaican is in African, and the video that you have just seen showcase that many Africans are surprised. Many of them are very sad knowing that Jamaican is not in Africa. We are in, we know we as African, many of us thought that Jamaica was in Africa, and we we still love Jamaica, and even though that we know that, even though that now we know that Jamaica is not in Africa, we still do love Jamaica, and you will never find that Jamaican is saying bad things about Africa. So guys, the bond between African and Jamaican is unbreakable. Jamaicans love African, and here in African we do love Jamaica. We support each other. You can never see like Africans say bad things about Jamaica. Many Africans love Jamaica and could wish to at least visit Jamaica. There's even in the track and field, you can see that here in Africa, here especially where I live in, we support Jamaica. You can see that we support Jamaica. We are very happy when you see that Jamaica is winning, like the athletics like Sarika Jackson are putting Jamaican flag on top. We are really celebrating. We celebrate a lot and we love Jamaica. So guys, I think that I think like Jamaican is still like a black nation, because during slavery or during the migration, many African were like distributed to other countries, So others went to like Jamaica and others went to foreign land, and that caused the confusion, because when you look at Jamaica, like 90% are black. So guys, feel free to comment, like interact in my comment, suggest what you think about Jamaican and Africa. I know that Jamaican and African have a good bond. So guys, show me some love by subscribing. I'll be back, and stay tuned. I'll be showing you some good videos and about Jamaica and even other continents. So guys, feel free to subscribe. Much love. One love.